I feel like this year has really taught me that more than anything, I need to make sure that I have a support system wherever I am, especially as an early career musician who would like to stay in the freelancing world for as short of a time as possible. You know, if I go and take an audition, it doesn't go my way, I have people that I can come back to. So at Civic this season, it's been a whole breadth of activities. We've done chamber music, both our own Call for Scores program, which was incredibly exciting. I think we got over 200 submissions from composers around the world. And I was on the leadership team, so I listened to all 200. And it was quite illuminating, actually. You know, you think about, how can orchestras have no hires? How do they know that there's the one? And out of 200 scores, I had my one. You know, how we make music can really speak to somebody and speak to a panel of people. I think we only had one piece that got 5 yeses from everyone on the leadership team. So you sort of, it really does correlate. So that was a really great experience. And we've also been able to do a lot working throughout Chicago and learning about this city. I think it's so easy for us as musicians to live in a city and have no idea what's going on in it. Being freelancers, you know, we do so much, and I think it's easy to say, oh, I know the city like the back of my hand, but do I know the people who are here? So we've done a lot of clinics this year to get to know and to start thinking about you know, who makes up this city that we're a part of. My main priority that has shifted has been me. I have thought about it over the past couple years, especially since leaving school. I wanted to feel as though I was more than just a cellist. For me, it's always been really hard to say no to a gig. I would only go on a trip if I could have access to a cello there. Or I would go visit friends and family and set up gigs wherever I was going. As I look to the future, and I'm talking about moving to New York to be near family, to be my own person. Of course, it's not like I'm moving to nowhere. Like, New York is one of the music capitals of the world, but it's a personal decision. It's the decision to say that, you know, keep my life going and keep me being happy. For anyone, even my non-musical friends, you know, you make decisions based on work. Where can I get a job? What do I want the next step to be? And it's very often just focused in what we do and not who we are. That's been the number one takeaway from the pandemic, is do what you gotta do, because even the job that you want more than anything, that in this field is the stable job, is not always stable. So you gotta just go for the things that you want. So much music, so much art going on all around Spoleto. I had my whole family come down, and they went to, you know, the theater, and they went to see chamber concerts. So I really always appreciated that about Spoleto. And when I was invited back in 2020, I think I screamed for maybe 3 days straight. I was so excited. And of course, this year has been very difficult in a lot of ways. I think the hardest thing for me musically was not being able to go back to Spoleto. That was the hardest, you know, musical experience that went away. For me to swallow, it was very, very upsetting. I've had a lot of friends quit this year, and it felt like everything fell into place in order to just do something else. So I've only ever had 2 teachers in my life, one from the age of 4 to 18 and 18 to 23. And I think they're the most supportive 2 people I've ever met in my entire life. And there are so many teachers who are not like that. And I think that I think we just need to remember to be kind to each other, because so few of us are kind to ourselves, and we're never going to be kind to ourselves 100% of the time. And to be honest, I don't think that we should be. I think that we have so much growth that needs to happen within ourselves, and but I think that we should always be kind and always be uplifting to our friends and our colleagues. It's a difficult field, and it's difficult to keep going every single day. I don't know. You know, there in any field, there's so much toxicity and so much competitiveness, which is important. I mean, there's only going to be one cello opening at one orchestra at a time. But we have enough of that within ourselves that we don't need to create it in this field. And I'm pretty optimistic, actually, for when auditions start coming back, and hopeful that things will go my way.